All right, welcome back. We begin with our tweet of the night from the Pittsburgh Penguins, and Evgeny Malkin spoke today, and this is some of what he had to say. Quote, "I'm happy for Sid." He's talking about his 500th goal. "He's an amazing player. He deserves everything. Every goal he scores, I'm glad to give him assists. Great memory for me, for sure. I hope someday he can give me an assist on my 500th goal." Those guys have been together for a long time, and now the question, as we segue into the trade deadline coming up in less than a month away, Chris, and if you believe, like I do, the Penguins have a chance here. They've been a good hockey team, but they need things. What do you do if you're Ron Hextall? They have the 25th overall pick, which could result in nothing, or to me, that's tradable. I mean, Jim Rutherford has proven that. What would you do? Who would you trade? What would you try to get?
I guess maybe there are still people, Bob, that think a backup goalie might be necessary. Even if DeSmith plays well, they still don't feel like there's necessarily reason to trust him. Maybe you get a more established veteran that you could turn to if things went awry with Jari in the playoffs. Otherwise, I mean, what are the obvious glaring weaknesses? I see one right now. The team's power play can't get out of the mud. No, I am not interested in bringing Phil Kessel back.
No,
sorry.
No,
first
me too.
off.
No.
First and foremost. Now, if you want to look at like power play specialist guys, I know I've seen when I've been like digging around on this, people suggest a name like Mike Hoffman, who's a power play sniper. That's what he does. The Canadians are circling the drain, obviously. Maybe a guy that you think can ignite your power play or just shake up that group. I know it's hard for them to say that their big cast of 4 forwards in Letang isn't working out, but if you can get somebody that you could legitimately inject into that equation, I think it would be a big help. Otherwise, I'll say this quickly. I don't really – do you see weaknesses on this team if they're healthy?
If they're healthy, no, I think
do you see a glaring need?
Well, the only thing I was not glaring, but to me there are always needs. Bluger's been absent. It's been noticeable. If he gets back, they need secondary scoring for sure, and Hoffman. But the question, Hoffman was a sniper. I remember him in his Florida Panther days. What would you have to give up to get him? I realize some of these teams are going to be in sell mode. You can pry away people. I mean, the Flyers certainly should be. They're terrible. They've lost 19 of 21. But what would it take to get him?
That's a good question. Those are hockey questions like that, like the specifics of what it costs to get somebody of certain caliber always drive me nuts because the returns half the time don't even feel like they make sense. You want to put the 25th pick out for sale and continue the Jim Rutherford tradition of not having first-round picks, be my guest. Keep taking bites at the apple. If you've got to give up some prospect that's in the minor leagues, I mean, to me, P.O. Joseph obviously is off limits, but if you've got to give up some other next-tier guy that could be an NHLer, by all means, give, right? I mean, how many times have they given away a player in a major acquisition that they've made at the deadline, and you've looked at that player after the fact and gone, wow, man, I'm really sad that the Penguins don't have him anymore. I mean, when they gave away Sundqvist to get Reeves, that was a bummer because Sullivan didn't want Reeves, and Sundqvist looked like he was going to turn into a pretty good player and was, actually. He did turn into that. Angelo Esposito? Oh, wait, Luca Caputi? I mean, we could go down the list here, could we not?
You're absolutely right.
Never-wases that they've traded away.
And they got a couple of guys, though, I've been waiting to hear from, and I haven't yet. Nathan Legare is one. Sam Poulin, who's been, he's supposed to be this sniper guy, and I don't know how long it's going to be before we see him up here. And I don't know how long they wait, and if they believe they can get something to help them now, and if one of those guys, I don't know. Those are things I don't have an answer to. Let's go to calls here. Chris, we have Ted in Mount Washington, our first caller tonight. What's up, Ted? How you doing?
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for calling.
Hey, I got a couple questions about the Penguins and the Steelers. I think the Penguins should get rid of Malkin. He's not been doing nothing since he came back. Maybe he could get out and get a better goaltender. And then the Steelers, I think it's time for Tomlin to go. And Mason Rudolph, I don't think that's going to be his answer.
Well, we'll find out. But Tomlin,
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Has Ted called and said that those two exact same things? Like how many times? 3 actually. I swear we've heard Ted before do trade Malkin, fire Tomlin, Rudolph can't hack it. Maybe I am like hallucinating here, but I am positive I have heard that gravelly voice saying those exact same things.
Let me ask you about, and I'm not saying this because I believe it's going to happen, but they do have guys who are on expiring contracts, and it makes you wonder what they would do. If you're in it to win this year, if you think it's possible, then you don't trade anybody. But at the same time, you get to the point where you're going to look at Rust as a free agent. You're going to look at Malkin. I'm sure Malkin wants to be back, and I'm sure he will give you some concessions. At least I think he will. He said that. Rust won't and shouldn't.
No, Rust is going to be the problem. Can you find, like, here's the ultimate question. To what degree did Brian Rust get made to look better by being around Crosby, being around Malkin, being around all this skill? And to what degree do you think Brian Rust was the cause of his own success, right? I mean, obviously in the free agent market, somebody's going to look at Rust and say he's just a legitimately very good player, which he is. And somebody's probably going to offer him a contract that reflects that, and that's going to make it tough for the Penguins. I think even if and when Malkin gives them some sort of a discount, I think it's going to be very tough to keep Brian Rust if there's a motivated enough team out there to say, we inject this guy into our lineup and it's a game changer, because they'll have deeper pockets.
Yeah, that's true. But Rust earns it. I mean, he's gotten to a point he's a made man in terms of third-round pick to where he is right now. You only get one chance to cash in. This should be it. Bob in Latrobe joins us right now here on Pittsburgh CW and 93.7 The Fan. What's up, Bob?
Hey, Bob.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for taking my call. I got to tell you, I watch your show every night. You, Richie, Chris, and Pony help me to understand the inside of sports. I'm no longer the armchair guy. It's more than statistics, and I want to say thank you.
Well, we appreciate that we could be of some service here. That's nice to hear, Chris. We don't have too many of those.
3 cheers. It's nice to be nice to the nice. 3 cheers for us, although we are, by definition, somewhat armchair guys. We try to give you that background look into things.
Right.
But a lot of this, that's the fun part. Bob and Latrobe, we love what you just said. That was very nice. I would not use armchair analyst as a pejorative for yourself. That's what this is all about. It's supposed to be fun. My God, the salary cap in the NFL isn't real, for example. There's an armchair take that's actually accurate. You think these teams are that worried about all this stuff?
No.
Of course not.
All right, one question before we go to break, and because I want to ask it, and you're the guy to ask it too. The slam dunk contest. I painfully watched that again this year in the NBA, and I'm only asking this because I'm tired of it, and unless somebody like John Morant or any of the elite dunkers, whether that's him, whether that's Zach LaVine, any of them, they got to do it, and if they don't do it, cancel it. I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Correct me if I'm wrong, LeBron's never done it, right?
No.
And now, granted, he's like close to 40,
So
so I
what?
don't think people care to see him in it. I mean, yeah, you're right. Here's what you do. I saw somebody make this suggestion. 2 things, scarcity and money. $3 million to the winner, half of it goes to a charity of their choice. That's real honest-to-God money. They get $1.5 million. And do it like once every 3 years so that it's a big honor if you get selected for it. How about that?
That's good. They've monetized some of the game itself by using charities and a lot of money involved. So
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the other problem, though. These are the best athletes on earth, and there is a limit to what you can do. Like, there are only so many dunks in the world. There are only so many props you can put up. I mean, when Jordan and Wilkins had their duel in the 80s, that was when some of those moves were still novel. Guys were still exploring, but they have reached the outer limits of what the human body's capable of, and I do think that's one of the problems with it, too.
Good point. We got to take a break here. We'll do it. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We do the show every single night of the week. Don't be a stranger. And like Bob and Latrobe, maybe we could help you get through your day. We'll be right back.